What's happening, folks? Welcome to McDiarmid Park. It finished at Johnstone 1, Celtic 3. I've got Darren and Callum with me to go over it. Darren, a really important 3 points, given where the performances have been recently. What do you make of that one today?
Another tale of two halves, is that how you kind of really say it? I suppose we'll start with the first half, get out of the way. Awful, absolutely awful. I thought actually the first 5 minutes wasn't too bad. I thought we actually looked up for the game, which has been a change on the Motherwell and Lazio midweek, so I thought I actually had a good feeling about it. Boy, was I wrong. Once the game settled, I thought we just looked poor. Midfield, we were getting bullied. In the final third, it just looked stale, optionless, no movement, no overlapping for the fullbacks. The wingers just took the safe option, didn't want to get the byline, just cutting inside. And even there was just Kyogo was deprived of service. I actually forgot he was playing at some point. I kind of feel bad for him at times, but that's just the way the system works. Where I know we've got key wingers out, and he's just going to have to ride that out, unfortunately. But even St Johnstone getting the goal, I'll come back to Joe Hart in the end because I'm going to give him a bit of stick for that. That St Johnstone goal, Joe Hart, he was complaining to the ref it was a foul. From where I've not seen it back, but from where we were sitting, none of us thought it was a foul. Just thought it was weak goalkeeping from Joe Hart. And then you're kind of wanting a reaction from Celtic. It was quite the opposite. Again, just trying to pass, like 5-yard passes to like the next player. Not trying to stretch a play, just stale, slow stuff like that. Getting at half time, and I thought that the fans around us, it was toxic. It was very toxic, and rightfully so. The team were poor, but to be fair, good reaction for the second half. It wasn't an explosive reaction straight from kick-off, but you could tell we had the momentum. That it was camped in St Johnstone's goal, and luckily Callum McGregor, it was a terrific finish from a ball in at a ricochet, and Callum McGregor, it didn't have. In fact, did a really, really poor first half, but that's what a captain does. He gets you back in the game. He does these moments, and you could tell just once it got to 1-1 that the momentum was with us. The crowd were behind us, and then thankfully we say comfortably because it was 3-1. Joe Hart, what a save at the end! 3 points saved us. Keeps that ball, terrific save. We got the part and scoring 3-1. So, yep, delighted to win, but still work to do. Still work to do, mate. 100%.
Aye, still work to do, Callum. I think no doubt we got a better response in the second half. Eventually, I think Mikey Johnson helped us coming on. Yang, another really poor outing for him. I think with the situation with the wingers right now, it's a big talking point. Obviously, Forrest and Johnstone have been here for a long time, and we're unsure about their ability to contribute consistently long term. But I think Johnston's impact in the game today, you'd back him to start instead of Yang on Wednesday against Hibs. But he had a good impact in the game. Had a good impact on the game. And I know we go ahead through two moments of brilliance rather than the performance turning into something scintillating, but we had to fight, and we scored two brilliant goals.
Like, Darren's pretty much covered everything, so we can just go up the roads, to be fair. But look, first half, I thought the first 15 minutes, I thought we were actually all right, without really testing the goalkeeper too much. But I didn't think St Johnstone had anything. They didn't really got the pitch. They just sat back. Typical Craig Levein style, isn't it? It's horrible to watch, and no wonder, because if you look at the home end, it's half empty, so fans don't want to come and watch that type of football. And we had to watch a team that just sat back. And look, I'm super emotional in the 90 minutes, but when you come out and you reflect on it, obviously it's just finished, but reflecting on it now, it's a tough game to have when you consider the weather coming back from obviously Lazio and Rome. It was tough, and I mean, I don't think it was as cold in Rome on Tuesday night as it was here, so that's a bit of a shock for the players, and it does take a wee while to get ready. St Johnstone get a goal at absolutely nothing, and look, it is poor for Joe Hart. I
think O'Reilly, before I know Joe Hart can do much better, but I think O'Reilly gets a foot on it, but he just kind of kicks it up in the air, and then the pressure's on Joe Hart, and he just can't deal with it.
Paul, the reality is this team are weak. They are, and that's not me being mean or horrible, saying something that every other fan knows. We are weak. We're not a physical side.
Defensively at set pieces.
Aye, and then even our centre backs, they're not the tallest, so we've not even got somebody in there like in the past. You'd maybe like somebody like a Van Dijk. I know that's extreme, but you'd have him. He's just going to put his head on it. He's going to be the one that he's going to be free and just goes for the ball. We don't really have that at Celtic. And maybe Vickers is the only one. Again, don't even think he's over 6 foot. So we have an issue with that, and it needs to get kind of sorted in January, because every team now are taking corners and piling everybody into the 6-yard box, and it's hurting Celtic, and that's where the goal comes from. It's an absolute mess. We go into half time, and Darren touched on it. It was a bit toxic. It just didn't feel great. And we know there's pressure on today's game because we've not been in a great moment or momentum. Really, it's kind of stop-start from the start of the season. Let's be honest, it is. So we've not had a right good run at it. Second half first 15 minutes, again, not great. Obviously, he makes the substitute with Mikey Johnson. And look, credit to Mikey, because he's been at the club for a long time. He's now 24 years old. He should be ready. He should be here every week and playing it if he's good enough for Celtic. And the reality is he probably isn't, because he's been here that long and still doesn't start games. Yang's starting ahead of him. So that tells you where he is in the pecking order. But by today and onwards, for me, Mikey's ahead of Yang, because Yang was just honestly like a deer in headlights. He didn't know where to go. His first touch, crossing balls, getting caught offside so many times, that is so poor, and you do not need that on a pitch like that when it's not the greatest of pitches. It's cold. It's not great when you've got players that feel the crowd on his back, and that's what happened. But credit to Johnson, he came on, he made stuff happen. Again, not his natural position, gets played on the right. He obviously prefers playing on the left.
Yeah.
Starts on the right, creates a lot, and then the first goal takes a real leader to step up in a moment where Celtic are really struggling and not really testing the goalkeeper up until that point. I don't think he didn't really have much to do. Turnbull in the first half had a shot with his left foot. We had a free kick, but it hit the wall. It was poor, so we didn't even test the goalie. But McGregor strikes is a brilliant strike. He keeps it clean, low, and it's just half volley, and it's right in the corner. And it was kind of what Celtic kind of did deserve with, if you're basing the game on possession and stuff like that and having all the ball. St Johnstone, again, didn't have much in the second half against Joe Hart. Second goal for O'Reilly. It's a really good bit of play. If my mind takes it back, I think it's Johnson, and then he plays it into Mikey Johnson, and Mikey Johnson plays it to Kyogo, and Kyogo plays O'Reilly. I think O'Reilly takes a touch with his left, shifts it onto his right, and he just rockets it. It's a great goal. It's actually probably better than McGregor's. So it's almost like 2 winning goals. That's the type of goals that you usually get for a winning type goal. We get 2 of them, and it kind of got us out of a little bit of a run. I know that's contradicting because we dominated the game, but we didn't do enough with the possession. People know what I mean by that. And if you look at in Lazio, we had all the ball at times, but we done nothing with it. And that was kind of the same today. And it takes 2 great strikes, and then the third's obviously is a great runaway goal for us. But look, Joe Hart was horrendous for the first goal in St John's, but by God, he got his 3 points with that save at the end, because Darren was talking about it doing his Coalbridge accent, talking about like you just knew a moment was coming for St Johnstone. They had nothing, but you still knew a free kick, a corner, they're going to pile the box in. We're not a tall team, and they had that chance, and Joe Hart thankfully saved us.
It was a brilliant save. Darren kept us ahead, and then we literally go right up the other end. Iwata does really well. I think there's a shout for a foul, and everybody's kind of stopped, but Iwata gets on it, picks out James Forrest, seals the points for us. I don't think there's any doubt that we're not playing anywhere near the levels we would expect just now, but this is something we've been talking about as well. I think we need to get through this period up to Christmas, into New Year, before the winter break. It's going to be really difficult because we know the squad's not where it should be. We're missing some key players. We're going to have to grind victories out like that, and regardless of how it went, it's just important to pick up the 3 points.
Well, I don't know the exact figure after today. I know Rangers have still to play, and realistically they're going to pick up 3 points, so I don't know what the maths is, but like it says, like this is always like you get the most fixtures in the year. It's a busy time, it's cold, games like that are going to be hard, so like the main thing is just to get to January. We've all touched on it, loads of injuries, especially to the key areas for me is the wide areas, right? Maeda and Abada, they offer 2 different things, but they're both crucial. Now you get like say Yang, who's been thrust into the team. It's probably not Rodgers doesn't want to start Yang. I think we can all agree that. That's why he's getting hooked at half time. But that's just the position we're in, unfortunately. Mikey Johnson's got to come on. So, and the Rodgers also made no secret that. Well, I think he tried to keep it a secret, but now he's basically been forced to say that recruitment is needed in January. Let's not beat around the bush. Terrible summer recruitment, right? We'll blame the board for that. We don't need to get into that today. That's probably a discussion for another day, but we do need to spend a wee bit more when it comes to players. We could talk about that till the sun goes down, but we'll not. Just briefly, we do need some areas of the park. If we're being hypercritical, Greg Taylor, really poor game today. Not to say he's a bad player, he's not a Celtic level player, but realistically you can do better. I've noticed still the last couple of weeks Greg Taylor starts getting targeted for long balls. He's just not got that physicality. Teams see a weakness, especially in Europe. Teams see a weakness, they'll pounce on it. Stuff like that. And in our defensive areas, like you've got Liam Scales there, right, in brilliant form, but is it a long-term solution? Probably not. You've got 2 centre-backs there who are gone. Like we're on the Rocky and Lagerbielke. That cost a lot of money and they've just not been seen. And then again, the centre of the park, Hatate's out, big miss. Turnbull 1 week, Bernardo 1 week, home next week. That's not good for consistency. Last season, we could literally predict the starting 11. It would always be, Moy, Hatate, and McGregor, right, or maybe sometimes O'Reilly.
Yeah.
That was just settled midfield three going into every single big game anyway, and you knew that they were going to do a job. Now it's completely different. You've got Bernardo playing in Europe but can't get a sniff in the league, and then today you've got Turnbull there. You can always rely on Turnbull for a goal maybe from distance. Not the day obviously, but sometimes he lacks that intensity when the game's flat. Just stuff like that doesn't help. So try and get through the winter, get to January, and then just go from there off. So a few more players will be needed. I think Rodgers said he wants to trim down the squad as well. We've got guys in there who are stealing a wage, not getting close to the team. So
yeah. Callum, tough games keep coming. We've got Hibs at home during the week, but away to Kilmarnock, where we've already had a really disappointing defeat this season in the Cup. So, as I say, we just need to grind it out. Do you think anybody that came on and impacted the game today? I've mentioned Johnstone already. We know Kyogo's maybe struggling to get into the game at the minute. Helped us with physicality coming on. I think Iwata done well late in the game as well. Can you see a case for maybe Iwata to start? Because I think that's the problem there is McGregor. That's McGregor's position, and I think Iwata is suited to the deeper position, but do you think he's done enough to maybe get a start?
Like when I woke up this morning, I went on my phone, I seen a video of Celtic winning 4-3 at Fir Park a couple of years ago under Rodgers. Do you remember that game? We went 2-0 down, Louis Moult scored a double.
Yeah.
The reason I'm talking about that is because McGregor actually gets the first goal in that game to go to 2-1. I don't know if you remember. He plays almost in the 10 role and he does a 1-2, I think it was maybe like Stuart Armstrong, but he's really good in that final third. McGregor can play there. Look at his goal. His goal gets us out of trouble
Different
again.
Stage of his career now though.
I get that, right, but it's not like he's got heavy legs. He gets around the park, he's decent, and especially against St Johnstone when you've got all the ball in that area, McGregor's not a weaker person to put up there over somebody like a Turnbull or an O'Reilly. He's just as good, and that's where he gets his goal from. So Iwata can play. The O one's really interesting because half the stadium at Celtic Park probably love him and half probably hate him. It's a really fine line between whether he's good enough or not. My own opinion is, look, Celtic are maybe forced to overplay at times because they can't go long into Kyogo because the back line of St Johnstone are huge and they're winning the ball every time. And like even when Kyogo's chasing balls down, defenders are now sticking their arms out, elbows out, pulling them back, like body checking them just to stop them. O doesn't take any of that. O gives it back where Kyogo can't really give it back. So when games are like this, I wasn't surprised when O came on because Celtic needed that, and as soon as we got it, Taylor could actually get his head up and then put a ball over, put the ball in between the right back and the centre back of St John's, put it into that dangerous space to allow O to run, and he ends up getting it and he fights with people. So look, certain games require certain players, and today was probably one of them where I think O probably should start more games. Now look, at Celtic Park on Wednesday against Hibs, Kyogo every day of the week for me, but when you come to hard grounds that are going to be a little bit tough, and you might sometimes just need to go long just to get a bit of pressure, O's not the worst option to have, and I know folk are on his back at times, but I thought when he came on, he made a difference to Celtic. I thought Mikey Johnstone, again, I thought he made a difference when he came on as well, but is that the reality of where we are? I know it's maybe not the day to talk about it, but we were speaking about it coming up in the car and talking about like a Celtic spend a good bit of money on players. You kind of get what you pay for. And if you look at Palmer, $3.5 million, I think he's been a success so far. He's maybe not the greatest at getting down the line. He likes to come inside a lot of the time.
Just lacks a bit of variety for me, Palmer, at times.
He's sometimes a little bit a one-trick pony at times. You know he's coming in, but if you look at it like Jota, $6 million, you got what you get. Abada, $3.5, you get goals and assists every season when he plays. But when you spend $800k or £1 million on people like Kwons and like Yangs, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get games where they're really good and then other games where they go and hide for 3-4 games, and that's what's up to the board and Rodgers to get right in January. And I know it's difficult to get right in January, but look, we got O'Reilly and we got Hatate for only £1 million each, so you can get really good players that come into your team straight away and hit the ground running. That's what the club are trying to do, but they're getting too many wrong way too often, and they need to probably spend a little bit more money just to make that gap a little bit bigger, because if Rodgers wants that, then why did he come back if he's not going to get it? Back him. If he's not asking for serious money, 20 million on a player, he's asking for 4 or 5 million, and it'll improve. Yeah,
January's going to continue to be a big topic as we move forward, Darren. It's not the easiest game in the world to pick a man in the match, but who would it be for you?
It's not easy. That's a good question, mate. Usually I'll say a player and give like 4 or 5 different reasons as to why I picked him, but I'm just going to say Carter Vickers purely because it wasn't awful, really, in the first half, especially. Like, what I thought is Celtic always start from the back. That usually always particularly starts with Carter Vickers. I thought it was a bit of a driving force, especially when we were 1-0 down. I know it feels strange picking a defender when we won 3-1, but, attacking, I thought we were pretty poor the day, despite scoring 3 goals. Subs obviously changed the game, so you don't tend to pick a sub. Strong case for Mikey Johnstone, who only played 45 minutes. I'd definitely look at starting him the next game, but as a game on the whole, I'd say Carter Vickers.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mikey Johnstone. Callum, I think he's been maligned obviously, but I think today he makes a positive impact on the game, and even before we get the equaliser, he was starting to get more joy down the side, much more than Yang, getting half a yard, beating his man. We know the end product isn't there consistently. Sometimes it was poor, but it helped us gain a bit of momentum, and I think his role in the second goal as well, the wee flick down the corner to Kyogo before he lays it into O'Reilly. Some key moments I think he helped us. I'm going Mikey Johnstone.
I'm probably going to go the worst of all three of them, to be fair, because look, I think McGregor was really good in certain moments and terrible in others, so it's really hard not to give him, but it's difficult. But I'm probably going to go for Joe Hart, simply for the save, because to already make a mistake, it's in his head. To stand there and do absolutely nothing all day in freezing cold, and he's just watching, hoping that the team can produce. And I know it's really harsh to not give it to a player when they're the ones are forced to make goals and get us the 3 points, but that save at the end is good enough for 3 points. That's what kept the 3 points, and I know the goals technically kept the 3 points, but that save is just outstanding, because again, for 90 minutes he's not had to do a lot. He makes a massive error and it's in his head, and he kind of acts kind of like embarrassing for me when he's screaming at the referee, it's a foul, like just come out and get the ball, and if you can't, make sure you save it when it comes in. But to react and do that type of save, I mean, that could have easily been 2 each. Genuinely, I thought it was going to be 2 each as soon as I seen it, so probably should be a player. And Mikey Johnstone great, and Carter Vickers great on the ball as well and defensively, but I'm probably going to give it Joe Hart simply for the save, because I think it saved us the 3 points.
Yeah, it was a big moment. There you go, that's it for full time reaction. Like, comment on with your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you during the week for the build up to Hibs. Thank you.